Well, hi once again, everybody. Welcome into another, what we think is going to be another great edition of the 19th Hole Podcast for Golfers. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers. Glad to have you joining us. And we've got another terrific show today because we've got one of my favorite guests on. He's been on many times before. You're absolutely going to love this guy. He knows everything about the golf game, everything about the golf swing. He was a former mini tour player for several years, and it's going to be a very, very good interview. I promise you that. Before we get going, let me just tell you, here in Las Vegas, it is windy, it is muggy, we're in monsoon season, we've got thunderstorms, we've got wind, so I don't think it's the greatest time to be on the golf course right now. It's been that way on and off for the last couple of weeks here, but this is what we get this time of year in Las Vegas, but don't let that deter you from hopefully making the trip here. A couple things to clean up before we bring our guest on. I think I mentioned it a couple of weeks ago about a very, very good possibility that the PGA Tour was going to get sued for a lot of antitrust issues, and sure enough, Phil Mickelson, along with a host of other players on the Live Tour, the Saudi Tour, has filed suit against the PGA Tour for antitrust. They haven't gotten a court date, but I think they're going to be very successful. It's causing a lot of havoc within the PGA Tour, and I'm sure PGA of America, and it's going to be quite interesting the way things are going to wash out, because the Live Tour is not going away anytime soon. They're looking for players. I think other players are going to leave the tour and go there, and you heard it here first. I think the first one, big name that's going to go right after the FedEx Cup, is Ricky Fowler. So let's see if I'm right or not. Secondly, I talked the other week about a great, relatively new golf company called Stix, S-T-I-X Golf. You could go to their website. They're out of Chicago. They were very, very nice enough to send me a new driver that is just absolutely beautiful. Let me get this thing here and show you. And the reason why, it's kind of old school in the sense that there's not a lot of writing on it. There's not a lot of lines on it. You can see on the bottom, it's got a great shaft and handle. And I've hit it and absolutely killing it. I love it. And the best part about it, all of their clubs are very, very affordable. They make a driver, fairway woods, a complete set of irons, either in the all black or the chrome. Check them out. Do yourself a favor. Go to Stix, STIXGolf.com. One last thing. I reported last week, I'm very proud to be asked to MC a great event coming up on the 19th, 2 weeks from Friday. It's a fundraiser out at Angel Park. It's called the Honoring Heroes Charity Tournament. It's for the children of fallen heroes, and they provide retreats, they provide education, and special programs to the children and the families of fallen military and first responders, and it don't get much better than that. So if you're interested, I really encourage you to get out and play and support this great event. Just call Angel Park here in Las Vegas for information, or you can go online and look up Honoring Heroes Charity Tournament and show you how great it's going to be. Just before everybody tees off at 8:30, they're going to have 4 or 5 guys jumping out of an airplane in different colors, landing on the golf course to kick this thing off. So do yourself a favor and sign up for it, because I'd like to see you there. All right, let me tell you a little bit about our special guest. Adam Bazalgette is the founder and operator of Scratch Golf Academy in Naples, Florida. Scratch Golf Academy is considered one of the best, if not the best, online golf lesson academies ever. Adam is a 3-time Southwest PGA Florida Teacher of the Year. Adam works with players on all of our major tours, as well as many NC2A players and other elite players. Before moving over to Mediterra Golf Club, home of Scratch Golf Academy, Adam was the director of instruction for the David Ledbetter Golf Academy for 14 years, and Led is a good friend and a good guy. And before turning to golf instruction full time, as I mentioned, Adam played on several mini tours, and for years and years, so he knows from what he speaks. So right now, my pleasure to bring up my good friend and a great guy, Adam Bazalgette. How are you, my friend? How are things down in Naples?
Feeling good, Dennis. It's summertime down here, so you were talking about humidity and rain. We were just before the show. Lots of it here, but that's pretty normal midsummer.
Yeah, that is down where you are. Adam, let me kick it off by asking you this. As you're quite aware, there are literally dozens of online programs available to people who want to learn how to play golf. So let me ask you, what really does put Scratch Golf Academy on top of the pile?
Well, I mean, hey, listen, there's a number of people that are fairly popular. We've been fortunate to be, I would say, on YouTube. We're just getting started on TikTok. And certainly as having an actual site where you can sign up and get full courses, whether it's driving or bunker play or whatever. I mean, we've certainly had our share of success. But honestly, I think I have a beautiful place to film. I have a nice camera, a nice microphone. Those help. I mean, it's nice to have the place look good. But in terms of content, I've just been lucky enough. I worked for David for all those years, but I've been around so many really good instructors. I've had them come here and do guest golf schools at Mediterra, which I've taught with them, whether it's mental coaches, short game coaches. And I think as you teach, I have full time for 30 plus years, and you incorporate information you get from really good sources, you start to kind of figure out when you're in person with people what sort of resonates, what doesn't work as well, what might be a good fit here. Hey, when I describe X this way, it seems to resonate again with people. So you kind of have a sense of what works for people in general.
Right.
And that's what we try to bring to the videos. So
Yeah.
I'm not the only one with good information out there, but I just think we do a reasonably good job of getting it in a packageable. And I try to empower people because they're the one that have to hold the club and swing it. So I'm not a big believer in I can tell you exactly what to think and the result will be this and a good. You have to feel some things out, but we can, I think, give them some good cues and some good general images and feels that seem to resonate with people.
Well, I think people will agree with me that have seen your stuff on YouTube or on Facebook or whatever. You do a very good job of doing the KISS rule, keep it simple, stupid. And that's what I like. You make it very simple. There's nothing complicated about it, and it's easy to digest. And people ask me all the time, Adam, if you could really learn the golf swing online without having a real person such as yourself next to them.
Can you do it?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, I think it's a little easier if you get some feedback from someone you trust and someone that has a camera and a bit of equipment. But I mean, I've certainly known of people make pretty darn good progress from just watching stuff online. If they get some feedback of their own, maybe they film themselves on their phone. If they get in front of the mirror, the sliding glass door, and sort of get a sense of what they should be feeling. In other words, they get some feedback, even if it's their own feedback. I think the people that don't do as well, whether it's in-person lessons or online lessons, are the people that the only time the club's in their hand is full speed, golf ball underneath them, ripping at the thing, with their only real goal is to hit it as far and straight as they can. That's fun. I'm not against that. But they don't usually develop much of a sense of what they're doing, and they don't let the magic of the subconscious mind kind of fix stuff. They're just belting away, stuck in a habit.
That's exactly right. And that's what people want to do when they go to the driving range, when they warm up. They don't work on what we call the scoring part of the game, the chipping, the putting. They just want to get up and see how far they can hit it. And I guess, that's where the game is today in a great respect. And I don't know whether that's good or bad, Adam. What do you think? You see these guys on tour just knocking the cover off the ball. And, of course, their fans want to emulate that. And 99.9% of the times, it doesn't work out.
Yeah, for most people, the instinct to really try to whack one a long way doesn't always produce the best motion. I mean, certainly, you want speed and you want to hit it fairly far, but there's good and bad ways to go about that. And most people just tighten up and slam at the ball, and it isn't the best. I agree with you there.
Yeah, no.
Back in my Ledbetter days, though, talking about the full swing.
Yeah.
When he would teach Faldo, and I don't know, Nick wouldn't know me from a hole in the ground, but I've been around him a fair bit and been assisting David with some of the lessons, which just means film and do what you need to do, get water or whatever. But I know as I've watched him up close a fair bit, and I'm going to stand up for a second. He would go over to the mirror. David had these big mirrors, and he would get himself, whatever it was he was working on, close his eyes, feel it, open them up, adjust it, close his eyes, then do it with his eyes closed, then open them. And he might spend 3, 4, 5 minutes just fiddling with something, nice, relaxed looking, till he felt, I know what I'm trying to feel. I got it. I'm spatially aware of what you want me to do. And then he'd go hit some balls. He would do that all the time.
Yeah.
Most people never do that. I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference.
Oh, it does make a good, huge difference. And you should know, you were a student of David's for a while before you started working for him.
Yeah, back in my mini tour days, that's how come I ever got the job. It was, I knew him back in those days before he was well known. My dad knew him a little bit, so I was fortunate that way. He's always been nice to me.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Would you say if somebody had a choice, Adam, are you better off being a really good field player, or are you better off having better swing mechanics?
Well, I don't know that they're mutually exclusive. I mean, I think I know what you mean. Is it? I think ultimately you want to have good feel. So the whole idea of going to the mirror, getting a coach, is to develop a sense of, hey, I know what I'm trying to feel now. I know what it feels like to be in the right spot. I'm sticking my hands over it. It could be something else in the swing. Then you have to go play by feel. I mean, you don't have a video camera underneath you when you play. So the best balance is create good feel by getting used to what good mechanics are, then play with feel.
Right.
Now you get a Sam Snead or a Bobby Jones that basically didn't have any technical coaching and had great motion. I mean, that's obviously pretty gifted people, but that's not typical. But you can do it that way if you've got enough innate ability, but that's not usual.
How were these guys, you bring up a good point, Adam, how were these guys back in the day, way back in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, how were they able to play such good golf with, number one, the equipment they had, the ball they were using, no workout trailers, no equipment trailers, but still, they played some pretty damn good golf. How's that possible?
Golf.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think when you get the people that are the best 10 or 20 at something in the whole world, the most gifted people in the world, Hogan, Snead, Jones, Hagen, these sort of people, they kind of find their way there. I mean, an Isaac Newton, for example, I've read a biography on him. He invented calculus from scratch because it helped him study the planets, and there wasn't the math available for it at that time.
Yeah.
Who the heck invents calculus from scratch? Now, that's a pretty extreme example. That is a pretty extreme example, but I think great athletes, super gifted people with some trial and error can more or less find where they need to get the club. They're already athletic and dynamic, and they can work it out, but they've got to work at it.
Yeah, they've got to work at it. That's very true. Well, as long as you brought that up, let me jump ahead and ask you this. Do you think in order to become a really great player, a really great ball striker, a great putter, that person has to have something in their DNA, or can you learn to do that, Adam?
Oh, I think it's a combination of talent, aptitude, whatever, and practice. I mean, I think you've probably got a guy, and I'm just making stuff up here. I'm not trying to say the wrong thing, but a guy like a Jim Furyk obviously has a lot of talent. He was a great junior, but he's maybe not as much talent as Mickelson or Woods, but he's got the work ethic. Nobody better. I mean, Mick Woods does too, frankly. But and then you've got someone with the kind of talent of a Fred Couples, who I'm not saying he didn't work at his game. Surely he did, but I don't think he's quite the grinder that Tiger or. Day in, day out, and he's had back problems, but he's got so much talent. So, I mean, there's slightly different ways to get there, but if you're going to be really good, you have to have relatively good aptitude.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. No doubt about it.
I was listening to with my wife, listening to a college football program a few years ago, and they had a brief statement from Bear Bryant, the famous Alabama coach, and he was talking about what he looked for in a running back. And he said, look, I can't coach in what God left out. He said, I mean, this kid's got to be able to run.
I like that.
He's not coming to Alabama if he can't do that.
That's exactly right. You know, he only gives you so much, and you can't put the rest back in there. All right, I'll tell you what. Stick around. We're going to just go away for a minute, and we're going to come back with more with Adam Bazalgette. Stay with us.
Welcome to Tea Time Fitness with Janice. Hi, I'm Janice Thornton, and today let's get an exercise for your shoulders. Grab your driver, go up overhead. You're gonna go with your arms behind your head, bending one of your elbows. Now I want you to squeeze your shoulder blades together and really stretch out that chest and shoulder area. Make sure you do both sides. Now you're gonna want to repeat this about 3 to 5 times on each side. To add into that same exercise, you can put your arms up overhead, go behind. If you have to bend your elbows, that's fine. You're gonna take a wider stance, bend over, and then just gently go side to side with your arms. And do what feels comfortable. You do not wanna be in any kind of pain when you do that, but that will help with shoulder mobility and stability as well. So check out jtfitnessandgolf.com for more ideas like this.
Are you an E or a C?
Both have Ridgeback.
These are loaded with tech.
Which one are you gaming?
Definitely E for me.
It's just so forgiving.
I'm definitely an E.
C is for Cheka. What else?
C is for kill it.
C is me. Low spinning bombs.
So, are you an E or a C?
I don't know. Hey, wait a minute.
Pound for pound, nothing comes close.
Welcome back, everybody. Just want to say a word about Janice Thornton. I think she's one of the best golf fitness people in the country. She has helped me so much, and let her help you not only if you play golf, but in daily life from getting injured and stuff, but especially if you play golf because you don't want to get injured. So jtgolfandfitness.com. She's absolutely wonderful. Anyway, speaking of wonderful, more with our wonderful guest, Adam Bazalgette. Adam, there's a discussion amongst industry people about golf lessons. And what I mean by that is some people now are of the opinion that the normal 45-minute, 60-minute golf lesson is too much for somebody to handle. They'd like to see it more like 20 minutes working on just one thing so they don't get overloaded with information, that type of thing. What's your feeling about that?
Well, I mean, for instance, I do 45-minute lessons generally. But by the time someone's come in, we've got them on film, maybe a few on the launch monitor. It doesn't take that long, but, introduce them, let them warm up a bit. And then I've looked at the swing. Now you're 10, 12, 13 minutes in. Now we get up, we're doing this. I might go to the mirror, refilm. Time goes pretty quickly. Now, hey, listen, I'm not picking on anyone's golf lessons. I'm only seeing mine. But if you go out just to the range, there's no camera, no this, no that. You start whacking balls and it becomes a little bit of a, hey, let's get you to try to hit it better. And then, after 15 minutes, they've done a few things that maybe could be, short-term fixes, and then there's some time to fill. I could see where that could happen. But I saw something where Butch Harmon, do you remember there was a Golf Digest article, and he and George, who's Gankus, is it?
Yes.
They shared the cover of Golf Digest together. So the thing was, George was the newcomer. This is a few years ago.
Right.
Obviously, great instructor. And they said, look, let's have a cool thing. Butch Harmon, who was a great player in his day, he's going to take a lesson from George. It's going to be a new format. We'll have Butch talk about that. And one of the things Butch said was he was kind of deferential, as I'm sure George gave him a great lesson. He said, the thing I liked what George did, he very quickly got to what he wanted me to work on, and he hit that. We hit it a couple of different ways, but he didn't get off that. And he said, that's what should happen in a golf lesson. That's what I do. And I remember that. And I think I agree. Obviously, I agree with Butch Harmon, the legendary. But I think a really good coach may go on for a little bit, but just help you to accomplish the same thing in a couple of different ways. And I think in that case, 45 minutes is fine.
Yeah, no, that's well said. George is very popular. He's in Southern California. And I know a couple of people that travel down to see him, and they like him a whole lot.
Adam, really nice guy.
Yeah. Does a person have to be creative in their thinking, do you think, to be a good top golf instructor?
I think somewhat. I wouldn't say I'm a very creative person, but I think let's take David Ledbetter as an example. He is actually a pretty creative person. But where I think his creativity is good, something I've tried to emulate. David has such a wealth of knowledge and has seen it and done it for so many decades, whether it's biomechanics, 10 different drills for everything, that when he'll get the same as Butch Harmon said, he'll get on a theme with someone, say, hey, this is what we got to have. We got to have this. When we get that, we got to have that. Bang, bang. But he is at liberty to be creative within that. So he might introduce some very interesting creative things, but they'll relate just to that. So creative within discipline boundaries, I think, is the key. And with that, it's as much experience as it is creativity.
Sure. No, that's an excellent point that you make. But do you think that the average weekend player, the average weekend amateur, really overcomplicates the golf swing when it really isn't all that complicated, is it?
Yes, I do. And that's actually, you went at the very beginning, kindly said we've had some success at Scratch Golf. One of the things is, I think, more broad brush cues, more motion-oriented cues, things that might relate to skipping a rock or putting a box on a shelf. Hey, that might not get a tour player hitting it better, but for most people, when the cues are more broad brush, more motion oriented, the conscious mind quiets down. When there's too many details, right knee here, keep it bent, elbow close to your side, etc., that only invites the conscious mind to get active and to try to manage stuff, which is poisonous.
Right. Very poisonous. I've gotten a lot of great tips from you, but one of the best tips I've ever gotten, Adam, and is about, a lot of people have a problem, as you know, coming out of their posture on the downswing. You did a video that is so simple, and you get it up here, is you've got to think of staying in your posture, staying flexed a little bit, and taking your arms and hands like you're brushing the top of a bench. You remember doing that?
Yeah.
It's a great tip.
We had a little hike there, and we brushed the bench there.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, and I think you feel both ends of the spine feel balanced, and just stay in there and keep moving. It's not that difficult. Honestly, you see someone make, on TV or whatnot, make a beautiful golf swing, Justin Rose or someone. I mean, that's exceptional. But I've come to believe, and very gradually, that is not as difficult as it might seem. Now, I'm not saying everybody can do that. I'm certainly not saying everybody can hit the ball 290 and shoot 68. That's for sure. But to generally get the club over your shoulder with balance, and generally get it moving in the right general path, and get the bottom of the swing in front of the ball, if it was that difficult, there wouldn't be thousands and thousands of people could do it. Again, doing it at the level and the speed and the precision of a 3 handicap or a mini tour pro, that's a little different. But for most people, with the right coaching and a little bit of work, they can get it to be reasonably good.
How much did your professional experience, your professional competition, your years on the mini tour, how much of that added to your ability to teach? What did that bring to the table for you, Adam?
I think it can help a little bit with teaching some better players, just being a little more empathetic with what they do. But I think one of the things it helps you realize is that, hey, it isn't an easy game. I mean, we just talked about it's not impossible to make an okay swing, but you got 4 hours out there with gaps between every shot, different clubs, and it just isn't that easy. And even the best players hit it in the crowd sometimes, miss a cut, thin a chip a little bit. So I think it just gives you some empathy. There's something about having struggled a lot with your own game that makes it a little easier to get in with people that are struggling with theirs.
Yeah. Yeah.
In
yeah.
theory, you could know almost as much as a really good instructor having not actually picked a club up. In theory.
Right.
But I think you'd miss a lot by not having grappled with it and fought the fight, you know.
Yeah, no, I certainly could relate to that. What's your advice to your students, Adam, as far as getting it into the house? They play a good front nine. They start out on the back nine. They got about 4 or 5 holes left. All of a sudden, their game goes south. What do you tell them as far as how to keep it together and get it into the house?
Well, I think in general, I mean, you're talking about maybe struggling at the end of the round. That's not infrequent.
Yeah.
Could they struggle mid front nine and try to get it? I think when you're in a sort of a trough, and you're out there playing, you don't have a whole bucket, you don't have a coach and a video camera. When you're in a trough like that, the thing is, a couple of things. Go to what's historically your most likely tendency. Don't fish for something new. Mm-hmm. I know what my tendencies are. I get a little too far behind the ball, get the club stuck. So go with what you typically do wrong, which you've probably worked on quite a bit, so you're used to working on that.
Right.
And then secondly, hey, it's probably not that you're making a whole different swing. You've lost your timing a bit. So whatever you do, get something traditional, think less, concentrate on rhythm a bit, and let it sort itself out. The more you think in that environment, the more you're likely to get your timing even worse. So stay with what's traditional for you, one simple thing that you've worked on before, and just make a good practice swing and keep at it and keep your mind as clear as you can keep it.
Great advice. Why don't most players let the club do the work, Adam?
I think if there's one, because I get sometimes asked this by students, what's the thing you see most people do? I think if the single biggest thing, I'll back up, is I don't think most people allow the club to work in reaction to the body athletically, like you'd use throwing a club or whipping a towel or something like that. I think people snatch the club back, they hit too much with the club. So consequently, because their sequence is out, the cart's before the horse, or as David Levitt used to say, the tail's wagging the dog, that was his expression. They find it hard to create that energy and that club working for them, so they just tighten up and try even harder.
Yeah, no, that's very, very, very true. All right, stay with us. We're going to take another short break, and we come back more with Adam from Naples, Florida. We all know that just about everything today is getting more expensive, and golf is no exception. Well, I'm here to tell you about one golf company that is designed to save you money. That's right, I said save money. Welcome to BreakfastBalls.golf, a company that sells the best used golf balls in like new condition at a fraction of the price you'd pay anywhere else. BreakfastBalls.golf carries all the popular brands of balls, from Pro Vs to Callaway to TaylorMade to Top Flight and many, many more. They even will ship you colored golf balls if that's your choice. They offer a great membership program as well, where members receive free shipping all of the time, plus great discounts. Save money and time. Go to breakfastballs.golf and check them out. So why not give yourself a breakfast ball on every tee, not just the first? Go to breakfastballs.golf and save money. If you're an avid golfer like I am, how great would it be living on a golf course? It's fantastic, but you're probably thinking golf course property is just too expensive. Well, I'm here to tell you that the folks at RWM Home Loans here in Las Vegas can make it happen. RWM Home Loans in Las Vegas will access a wide variety of ways to customize a loan to help you get into that golf course property, or anywhere else for that matter. They offer first-time home buyer programs, jumbo loans up to $5 million, and even reverse mortgages. So do yourself a favor and call Casey Zari right here in Las Vegas at 702-888-2251. Get started on that new home or property. That's 702-888-2251, or just go to rwmhomeloans.com. Welcome back to more of the 19th Hole Podcast for Golfers. I'm your host, Dennis Silvers, having a terrific interview with my friend Adam Bazalgette, who is the proprietor of Scratch Golf Academy. Adam, I'd be remiss if I did not ask you your opinion or opinions about the Saudi Live Tour.
Well, I mean, it's not like I really stay up studying it and listening to all the interviews, but my thinking is, it's free marketplace out there. Just because someone's had the monopoly on something forever doesn't mean they have to continue to have it. So, hey, it's competition. It's certainly generated some interest. And if people don't really love it, if they feel they're mostly signing up, and they're not all, but mostly some players beyond their peak in their career and the formats, whatever it is, if it will die down if it's meant to die down. If it's meant to last a long run, I think it will.
Yeah.
I think the PGA Tour got to get used to it. I mean, it's not. I don't think it's. I know what is it, Rory McIlroy, who I'm a big fan of his. He and a number of people say, hey, this is just out of bounds. You can't do this, and that's a fair opinion. He's probably been offered a fortune and turned it down. So good for him if he feels that way. But I just don't see it as a huge sort of moral transgression to start some other business in the face of something that's been an unchallenged monopoly.
Yeah, and I know they're still actively looking for players. They are increasing the events that they're going to have next year, and this is kind of just a breakthrough season, so to speak. And I think it's going to be attractive to really more and more players. And I think that the lawsuit that was filed that I mentioned at the opening of the show, I think they're going to be successful, Adam.
I don't know much about law, but it just off my amateur opinion, it sounds like they have a case.
Yeah, it does sound like they have a case. Absolutely. Are you doing any traveling outside of Mediterra to give schools, to give clinics, to go here and there?
I go out quite a bit in the summer, just for a couple of days here and there. I was in Michigan, Nova Scotia, Canada, going to Indianapolis, Myrtle Beach. Tomorrow is in Maryland. So, Atlanta. We're going out to Washington State with the Golf Fanatics group here in a couple of weeks, hopefully. So, yeah, I'm out and about a bit.
That's awesome. So when are you coming to Las Vegas?
Well, hey, listen, I'd love to come to Las Vegas. A lot of times the challenge is just finding a place to go. Usually when I go there, I teach with one of the pros and we have a good time. I bring people to Mediterra. Not everyone's open to that sort of thing, but hey, if like Dennis, if you know someone that might be interested in doing something together for a couple of days in Vegas, I'd be open to it for sure.
For a clinic or something? Absolutely.
It's not like we market it to the Scratch Golf audience, so we usually can bring people in. So
that's fantastic. No, I definitely will. I'd love to have you. I'd love to have you out. One final question or so before I wrap it up. There's also talk about the new style of golf course. Obviously, owning property for an owner sometimes is very, very expensive. The shorter the golf course, obviously, the more money they save. The other side of the coin is somebody ever going to step up and build a 9,000-yard golf course and maybe get a tournament out there and see how these guys can handle a huge yardage like that? I personally think they would still score well, but what's your thought?
Well, so the new styles, these shorter golf courses, I think that's good for people. Honestly, we have 5 sets of tees at Mediterra. They're Fazio signature golf courses, so it's 7,000 from the back tees.
Right.
And a lot of members here that are reasonable players, but they're older guys are playing the number 2 tees at about 6,700. It's too hard for them from there.
Yeah.
The golf course, they just don't get enough short irons. These greens aren't built for 3-woods coming in. I mean, when I play recreationally a little bit, I'll play the mix between 2s and 3s. Mm-hmm. So I'm playing it shorter than many of them, and I know I can hit it farther than a lot of people. People play it too long.
Yeah.
So I think a shorter golf course is good for most people. Sure, you're not going to have a tour event there, so what?
Yeah. Right. And people tell me, well, I want to get my money's worth, Dennis. I go, well, you want to get your money's worth, or you want to have a good time and shoot a good score?
Fun. Yeah. I'd get more money's worth shooting 72 than 79.
Yeah, exactly.
Personally.
Do you think as a top instructor that you often find that egos get in the way of your students?
Yes, I do. And a lot of times it's not just them; their friends do that. So it's like, hey, listen, they're all playing that tee. I don't want to be the guy driving up there, and I can see that to some extent. But the PGA's had to go. Jack Nicklaus has spearheaded that with the PGA, the Play It Shorter. If you ever go to PGAPlayItForward.com, maybe it's not .com, but Google it or website it or whatever. They have you know this, Dennis. They have a list of if you carry the ball X with your driver, 200. Right. This is how long the course should be to get the shot values top. It's incredible how short the courses should be for most players.
For most players, you're absolutely
nothing
right.
Close to what they play. Nothing close to what they actually play.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. All right, if somebody was to come down to Naples, and do they have a chance to come in and see you to take a lesson or two? How do they do that?
We do it. If they go to adambgolf.com, adambgolf.com, that's our local teaching website. You can contact us. We'd love to have you out. It's a beautiful facility. We'd love to get to know you. It happens all the time. We see lots of fresh faces, so we'd love to have you. Thank you.
How many members do you have down there, Adam?
Oh, it's a 36-hole facility. We've got 450, but I teach a lot of members. Yeah.
That's still great. Anyway, Adam, thanks for taking time out. Always great to have you on the show. Always great information. You're a great guy, and we're going to see about getting you out here, my friend, to Las Vegas.
Thanks, mate. I'd love to. We'll go out for a meal.
You got it. Thanks very much. Adam Bazalgette, everybody. Terrific guy. All right, we're going to step away again, take a short break. We'll come up and come back and wrap up the show.
As golfers, we want instant gratification when it comes to a better golf swing and playing better golf. Impossible, you say? Not anymore. Golf Boost Artificial Intelligence, AI, has developed and patented the most advanced swing analysis technology in golf. Simply, the algorithms detect your body position and then analyze your golf swing using their artificial intelligence technology. The AI captures all the relevant data from your swing video and then presents you a personalized lesson. Golf Boost AI is the ultimate swing analysis and virtual instruction system for golfers of all ages and abilities. This sophisticated software takes into consideration your height and build, playing level, and returns the ideal solution for your swing. Bottom line, Golf Boost AI is an incredibly convenient and cost-effective tool for golfers to improve their swing. Go to golfboost.com and check it out. The app is free to download and try. Visit golfboost.com today.
Innovation begins at a single point. Elements, each with their unique character. Fire-forged steel creates unprecedented control. Chemistry delivers a touch so soft, combined to create a level of performance previously unimagined. Like magic, the Elixir, the new tour ball from Encore.
All right, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another good show with Adam. Always a good guy, and we hope you get out and get a chance to play golf. I just want to also put in a plug. I co-host another show. It's about politics. We call it Pick Your Politics with a wonderful co-host of mine, Stephanie Phillips. And if you have an interest in that, please try to catch us. We do it every Wednesday at 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So we have local politicians, national politicians. It's really a fun, interesting show. So that's going to wrap it up. I'm going to take my new driver from Six Golf and probably go out and bang some balls and, get some of those great drives going again. So if you get a chance to get out and play golf, do it. So we'll see you same time, same place next week from the great Rigel Studios in the heart of Las Vegas. So long, everybody.